Okay, good morning. I welcome you, Akshat, for another important class lecture session, which will be very interesting lecture, very good session today. What time is it in Toronto presently at this time? What time
Huh?
is it in Toronto?
For me, it's 10 p.m.
Okay, 10 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
So 10 p.m. I am at 8:30 a.m. students. So it's going to be a good interaction. Our sessions are students live sessions and you can talk with me, you can interact with me, you can ask your doubts, you can ask your questions. There is nothing to hurry up. We can give more time to you, no problem, no issue. And the topic of the day, the topic of today is very important, students. We are going to talk about two important things. One, intermolecular intermolecular forces. Second, we are also going to talk about what type of bonds we are aware of, students. Types of bonds in chemistry you are aware of covalent bond, you are aware of ionic bond, students. When atoms atoms combine atoms combine to form molecules or compounds, what type of bonds we see? Covalent or ionic bonds. Why will a covalent bond will be formed, students? As we said, that electrons in the valence shell, electrons in the outermost shell of the atom, if they do not have octet, if they are not stable, octet is a stable configuration, students. If they do not have octet, they will try to form bonds, they will try to react either by sharing of the electrons or by transfer of the electrons. And you know very well, covalent bond is formed by the sharing of electrons, students. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Sharing of electrons. Is it correct what I write,
Yes.
students?
Yeah.
Okay, ionic bond you are saying is formed by the transfer of the electrons. Transfer of the electrons. And to make it clear, we will give you example, student. Let us take examples of these, what we are saying, students. Sharing of electrons, you, for example, if you are saying that you have nitrogen is an atom. The atomic number of nitrogen is how much, students? The atomic number of nitrogen, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, 7. I write it like 7. 7 is the atomic number. And I say the electronic configuration looks like this. Or in other words, I can write like 1s2, 2s2, and 2p, 2 plus 2, 4, and 3. This is the valence shell, student, outermost shell. This is our valence shell. And you know very well that these inner shells are very close to the nucleus. Here the electrons are not going to take part in bonding. Where the electrons take part, students? From the outermost valence shell. That is a valence shell where electrons can be added or can be removed or can be shared. Can be shared. So what is the story of the nitrogen? If I say nitrogen, I can represent by the Lewis electron dot structure like this, students. There are five electrons. This is the five electrons, 2 plus 3, 5 electrons in the valence shell of the nitrogen. If it combines with another nitrogen, students, nitrogen atom is not existing. In the air, you have N2 gas. What you have in the air, student? You are saying air, you have N2 gas, nitrogen gas. It is a Diatomic nitrogen, diatomic nitrogen. Students, there are two nitrogen atoms. So what will happen, students, that we can say that what is happening, 5 electrons means it is not an octet. It is not an octet. It will need 3 electrons in order to complete the octet. Another nitrogen atom also 2 plus 3 5. It also needs 3 electrons. So what will they do, student? They will share their 3 electrons. We are saying these electrons will be shared, students, and the sharing of the electron will result in the formation of a bond. So what you get in the case of nitrogen, as we have shown, student, it is a triple bond, and you are saying this is the Lewis electron dot structure of N2. Here, students, there is a sharing of the electron. We are saying covalent bond has been formed. This is the example of the covalent bond, students, where there is a sharing of the electron. Similarly, I say HCl, for example, HCl, hydrogen has got 1 electron. Cl has got 7 electrons in the outermost shell, students. So hydrogen has only 1 electron. It cannot give. Chlorine needs 1 electron to complete the octet. Hydrogen needs 1 electron to go to the next noble gas element, which is helium. Helium is very stable, 1s2. So what will they do? We are saying they are going to share this electron. They are going to share this electron. Then the result of this is, students, it looks like this. This is our HCl. The bond formed is covalent, students. Covalent bond. This is a covalent bond. When covalent bond is formed, students, it's very strong attractive force between the atoms. The force is, there is a force of attraction between the atoms. That's what we are saying. It is not a rope. It is not a rope which you are experiencing. It is an attractive force, students, between these two. So these atoms have come closer. These electrons, what we showed you, they share. There is a very strong attractive force between hydrogen and Cl, students. And here we are talking of the formation of the covalent bond. So covalent bond is been formed by sharing of the electrons at Cl and 2. So many examples we will give you. Now, if I take the case of the ionic bond, students, now what is going to be the ionic bond? When I talk of ionic bond, students, the story is that you, for example, if I say sodium and Cl, sodium atomic number is 11, students. I represent it like 281. Chlorine is 287, students. This is a metal, student, metal. This belongs to the group 1 in the periodic table. So it can give 1 electron. I can show it like this, that sodium is looking like this, students, that it has got 1 electron in the valence shell. For sodium, I am saying KLM281, student. It has 1 electron in the outermost shell. And for Cl, you are saying it is KLM shell 287. In the third cell, it has 7. So what can happen, student? This sodium, which is 281, Cl is 287, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This can give its electron to the Cl, students. This is a transfer of the electron. Transfer of electron takes place, student, and then result will be what? Sodium plus 1 electron is lost. It will get a positive charge. It has octet, and Cl minus, student, it has gained 1 electron. So it will become negative charge. Now here you have seen ions. Ions have been formed, student. Ions means positive charge is called cation. Negative charge is called the anions. So this is an ionic bond, student. This is an ionic bond where what has happened? There is a transfer of the electron from one atom to another atom. In this case, sodium gave its electron to Cl. Both are now stable. This is 8 electrons, 8 in the outermost shell. Both have got octet. The forces which are holding these are called electrostatic forces. Student, in physics you have read about it. Electrostatic means ionic. There is a positive charge and negative charge, so they are attracting each other. This is a very strong force. When positive and negative charges are attracting is a strong force, and they have high melting points. Students, because the force of attraction, this is a force of attraction is electrostatic here, so it is a very strong type of force which is there. So here we are aware of these things. Students, the interesting thing is, if you have a covalent bond, students, there is a possibility of a polar covalent bond. Now, what is a polar covalent bond, students? What is a polar covalent bond? And non-polar covalent bonds. I'm talking of two things now. In case of doubt, student, you can ask me to explain or stop. We are not going to go very fast. Let us understand each and everything. Non-polar covalent bond. Polar covalent bond means what, students? Bond is formed by the two atoms. If one atom is more electronegative than other, what will happen? I'm saying, for example, student, HCl. In HCl, what has happened? Tell me which is more electronegative, Cl or H? Which is more electronegative? There is a electronegativity difference. Which is more electronegative, students, out of these two atoms? Chlorine or hydrogen? You are,
Chlorine.
yes, that's the correct answer given by Akshit Kapoor. Cl is more electronegative than hydrogen. That we can see, a table is given in the books. The electronegativity scale is given in a table, students. In case of doubt, we can go and see. Cl is more electronegative. Halogens are highly electronegative elements. They belong to group 17, students. They have a strong tendency to attract electrons towards themselves. But we are saying there is a pair of electron between hydrogen and chlorine. What is there? You have seen just now this HCl. There is a pair of electron. There is a pair of electron, students. What we are saying, in hydrogen and chlorine, this bond is formed by, there is a pair of electrons. This is a pair of electrons. Now this is more electronegative. What will happen? This will attract the electrons more strongly towards itself. The Cl will attract electrons more towards itself than the hydrogen. The result is, students, there will be a separation of, partial separation of charges. The chlorine will become delta minus, I am saying, and hydrogen will acquire delta positive charge. What we are trying to say, this bond is polar, students. Polar means the Cl is more electronegative. It attracts the electrons more towards itself. Therefore, students, it acquires a partial negative charge, and delta means partial charge. It is not complete transfer of the electron, which we showed in this case. Here I showed complete plus minus. Here I am showing delta plus and delta minus. That means there is a partial negative charge on Cl, partial positive charge on H, and the bond is called polar bond. So this is an example of polar covalent bond. It is covalent, but bond has got two dipoles, student, dipoles. One is positive, other is negative. So what we do, sometimes we show it like this. What it means that Cl is attracting the electrons more towards itself. Therefore, the hydrogen will acquire a partial positive charge. Cl will acquire a partial negative charge. This is called polar covalent bond. So many examples. You can take any two atoms when these two atoms, their electronegativity difference is there. If I take HF also, students, this fluorine is more electronegative than H. So this is negative, this is positive. If I take water, student, in water, what happens? Oxygen is negative, hydrogen is positive, hydrogen is positive. So these bonds are becoming polar, students. They are called polar covalent bonds. Any doubt, students? Do you have any
Um,
doubt? Can I proceed
so
further? No doubt. Okay.
so it would
Yeah.
be polar covalent if
Yes.
there's a different in electronegativity.
Yes. Whenever there is a difference in electronegativity, the bond will become polar.
Okay, and what does it need to do to become nonpolar?
Yes. The you can see that this oxygen is more electronegative. It will pull the electron more strongly towards itself. Their
Okay.
result will be it will acquire a partial negative charge, and hydrogen then will get a partial positive charge. So these are called polar covalent bonds. This will always happen wherever two atoms have different electronegativity. In other words, whenever I will have two different atoms, there will always be polar bond. If only non-polar means what? Non-polar means when if I have a bond between hydrogen and hydrogen now. In this case, what has happened? Both the atoms are same. Both the atoms are same, students. Therefore, this electron pair is shared equally by both the atoms. Both this is now not a polar bond. This is not a polar bond. This is a non-polar covalent bond. Why? Because the two atoms are same. So there is no preference to attract electron towards anyone. Hydrogen is same. So the electrons is shared equally between the two atoms. This is an example of non-polar covalent bond. Similarly, you can take other examples. If I write Cl, Cl, now they are the same atoms, same atoms. Therefore, this bond is non-polar, students. There is no polar means there is no charge separation which is taking place when such bonds are formed. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you have taken notes of all this, or you can take a photo of this, no issue. Further, you will get the recorded videos all the time. If case of missing anything, you can watch them, no problem. Okay, students. So what we have tried to explain to you, students, what I'm trying to explain, students, that a covalent bond, it can be non-polar when the two atoms are the same, students, or have the same electronegativity, almost same electronegativity, or almost I'm saying two or more atoms. There could be more atoms than two also. And polar covalent bonds, we have already told you, the two atoms, the atoms are different and they have different electronegativities. Electronegativities, students. The result is the bond becomes polar. There is a separation of charges. And one will acquire delta positive, other will become delta negative. These are, we call it, there are two poles. They are called dipoles. Di means there are two poles, positive pole and negative pole. And they define a dipole moment. The molecule will have a dipole moment, student, which is represented by mu. For example, in HCl, I'm saying this is delta negative, this is delta positive, and we represent the molecule like this. The dipole is going towards this side. The electrons are more towards Cl than H, and the dipole moment can be calculated, which is charge on either atom. Charge on either atom, students. This is delta plus charge multiplied by the distance between the two atoms, multiplied by the distance. between the two atoms. They calculate this value, and then they will say, okay, the molecule has a dipole moment because it is polar. It is polar. More the value of this, more is the bond polar, students, more is the separation of charges. So this is just telling you what is the meaning of polar bond, what is the non-polar bond, or why the bond becomes polar in covalent molecules. There are so many examples, whatever you want to take. If I take NH3 also, students, you have already seen the shape of NH3. There is a lone pair of electron also. You will see that this nitrogen is more electronegative than hydrogen. So what will happen, student? It will attract the electrons more strongly towards itself. And this molecule is polar. The molecule is polar. Nitrogen will acquire partial negative charge. Hydrogen will acquire partial. This bond is polar, partial negative and partial positive charge, students. Similarly, we have shown you for H2O. There are lone pair of electrons also. Here you see oxygen is negative, partial positive, because oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. This has a dipole moment value. Somewhere in the books they have calculated these values, charge into distance values, and on that basis we say the molecules are polar. These are all examples of polar covalent bond, students. So you can take other examples. Everywhere atoms have different electronegativity, then there will be polarity in the bonds. And this is an important, because if the bonds become polar, what will happen? See what we are saying. Uh, in the case of HCl, student, the electronegativity value is given in the book. What we are saying, electronegativity value is given. For example, for hydrogen the value is given. It is 2.1, and for Cl, electronegative value is, students, 3.0. So what is the difference then? The difference, delta E, what is the difference in electronegativity, students? For Cl, 3.0 minus 2.1, the value is coming to be 0.9. So when the electronegativity difference, you can see in this case the electronegativity difference is zero point 0.9, students. And when electronegativity difference becomes between 0.5 to 1.7, the bond becomes polar. Such bonds become polar means there is a separation of charges. So what we already said, in this case, the electron is more towards the Cl. This pair of electron is more attracted by the Cl as compared to hydrogen, students, because the electronegativity difference is greater than 0.5. Such bonds are called polar covalent bonds. What will be the result of that? We will show you what will be the result of that. So important thing is that in the case of water, you are saying this is negative and this is positive. The water which you are drinking, water is a liquid, you know. Water is a liquid. Why the water is liquid, students? Why the water has become liquid? What is the reason? The reason is, you can see here, very important thing will happen. Because this is negative, this is positive. There will be large number of such molecules. You are taking water in a glass, student. How many molecules? There are millions of molecules present in the water. If I take 1 mole of water, if you take 1 mole of water, students, 1 mole of water is equal to 18 grams of water. This will contain 6.022 into 10 power 23 molecules, students. Avogadro's number. You have heard about Avogadro's number? Avogadro's number of molecules. This was a idea of the mole concept. I'm not discussing this at this moment. So what is happening? There are very large number of water molecules which are present, student. And what will they do then? There are more water molecules. The result of this, you can see, this is positive, this is positive. There are more water molecules present, large water molecules present, student. You are saying this is positive, this is negative. There are large water molecules present, student. How many? Millions of water molecules. This is negative, this is positive. What will be the result of this, students? Because this is negative, this is positive, there is going to be a strong attractive force between them. You can see that. They will attract. Can you see that? Positive, negative will attract. Yes or no? Tell me. There will be attractive force. Can you see the attractive force? Yes or no? Tell me. These water molecules will have strong attractive forces between them. And this is what is happening. This is called formation of hydrogen bond. Student, this is called hydrogen bond. And is example of intermolecular hydrogen bond. What it will do? What is the result of these, students? You have missed something. I think the connection was lost. Now you are connected. You are connected.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. My
Okay,
Wi-Fi went
students.
down.
What I am trying to tell you that whenever polarity is there, whenever bonds are polar, for example, in the case of oxygen and hydrogen, in the case of water, this is my water molecules. Hydrogen is carrying a positive charge, oxygen is carrying a negative charge. And if you consider water in a glass which you are drinking, students, I'm saying 18 grams of water will have 6.022 10 power 23 molecules of water. What will they do? As I am shown here, student, this is positive, this is negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. They will start attracting each other. Negative and positive will attract. Yes or no? Tell me, will the negative positive will attract or not?
Yeah.
That will result in the formation of a hydrogen bond, students. In water, what is happening? Hydrogen bond is formed. So that is why the water is a liquid. Water is a liquid, students. Water is a liquid. H2O is a liquid, but H2O is a gas, students. See the difference. This is H2O and this is H2S. Oxygen is replaced by sulfur, it is gas. Because the electronegativity of sulfur is less. Electronegativity of oxygen is more, student. Electronegativity of oxygen is more than sulfur. So oxygen is able to form hydrogen bond, student, hydrogen bond. And that makes the molecules come closer. There is a intermolecular force of attraction between the molecules. And therefore, water comes in the liquid form, students. If this hydrogen bond is not there, what will happen? Water will evaporate. If water becomes a gas, student, then our life is finished. So we are also out. 70% of our body is water. You know about it. You know that how much water is there inside your body. In your body, you have small cells, tiny cells. They are liquids, water. If water was gas, students, what life? No life is possible. And why the water is a liquid, students? Because the bonds are polar, students, and water forms very strong hydrogen bonds. And this is the way the things are. The molecules of water are tied with each other, and when you will see the boiling point of water, you know how much is that, which we say 100 degrees Celsius, 373 Kelvin at 1 atmospheric pressure. When pressure is 1 atm, then you are saying water is boiling at 373 Kelvin. That means water is not going to evaporate. It will need large amount of heat energy. What the heat energy will do? It will break these bonds. When these bonds will be broken, student, then it will start converting from liquid to the gas state. So energy will be required to break these bonds. Energy will be required. And that is why one very important thing you know about the water, student, water, you know about the water, one very important point, that it has a very high specific heat value. The water has a high specific heat value. Water specific heat is very high. What do you mean by that, student? What I am talking here is the hydrogen bonding in water. The intermolecular hydrogen bonding in water is very important. That makes water becomes a liquid. Water becomes a liquid, student. And the result of that is that water has high specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity. What it means? What is the specific heat capacity, students? If you want to increase the temperature of water by 1 degree Celsius, then you will need lot of energy. Otherwise, what will happen? The sun rays are falling on the sea, and if the specific heat is less, it will start, the temperature of the water will rise, and then it can evaporate. But the specific heat capacity of water is large, student, large, high value. So the result is it will absorb large amount of heat for warming. Otherwise, what will happen? The aquatic life will be in danger. If water of the rivers, water of the lakes, water of the ocean becomes hot by the sun rays, students, it will be very horrible thing for those fish which is living and aquatic life. Why? Because there is a hydrogen bonding in the water, student. It can take a lot of heat energy. It can absorb a lot of heat energy. So specific heat, what is specific heat? If we give the definition of specific heat, how we define in physics? In physics, specific heat capacity in physics, student. How much is the heat capacity of the water? It can absorb large amount of heat without rising very its temperature too much. So what we define as amount of energy. This is our amount of energy, students. Okay? That a substance can absorb. That a substance can absorb. ठीक है? ठीक है? Absorb before warming up to 1 degree Celsius. That means to raise the temperature of water by 1 degree centigrade, it will take a lot of energy, lot of heat energy. So it is not going to be heated immediately by the sun rays. It needs a lot of energy. That is the reason, student, that is a reason that what we are saying, water has a high specific heat and is transparent. So it can take more energy to heat up than land. Land will become hot faster than water. You have seen sand. Have you seen deserts of sand, students?
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
become very hot. during the summer, because sun rays fall, their heat capacity is less, their temperature will rise more. But water heat capacity is more, temperature doesn't rise by the sun rays or by the heating. And this means water holds heat extremely well. So water can hold the heat of water, can hold heat or from the sun or anywhere from the sun, because sun rays are falling very well without without changing its temperature, without changing without changing without changing its temperature, without changing its temperature to a great deal. Temperature will rise only little bit with the sun rays. And this is why ocean and lakes, oceans and lakes students, oceans and lakes, the water remains there. Water is there. It is not drying up. It is not drying up. Otherwise, it will dry up. All the water will evaporate. If it absorbs sufficient heat, high temperature, and the temperature of water rises, then it will evaporate. It doesn't happen. And that is why the oceans and lakes, students, they affect our weather and climate. The climate at the oceans, if you go to the beaches, you see that what type of climate is there. A lot of moisture is there in the air. So the water is not completely evaporating. Therefore, students, the fish survives in the water. You have fish in the water. If the temperature will become very hot, what will happen? A fish cannot survive. So aquatic aquatic animals which are present in the sea, students, they are loving the high specific heat capacity of the water because of the hydrogen bonding, students. The water molecules are having strong intermolecular forces of attraction between them, and you will have to supply a lot of heat to break them to boil the water. Got the point?
Yeah.
Okay. That is very interesting, students. The life is so much balanced by the life is so much balanced by the nature. As somebody says that God created the universe so that we can live on planet Earth. Can we live on any other planets or any other part of the universe till date? No. You know the NASA is launching so many satellite, students. Still life has not been discovered. Do you think there will be life anywhere? What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
You should be positive somewhere, but can we live if the conditions are not right? Temperature is not right. For example, water is not there, food is not there, or we cannot. There is no oxygen or air. What you have different gases. Temperatures are very high. Then how we can live? Nothing. Nothing exists. So scientists are searching for some place other than Earth, which has conditions which are good like Earth to live. But you know, so much man-made activities are destroying the planet Earth by what we call as pollution. Environmental pollution, you know, is increased, and further coronavirus attack, you know, every country is working hard, and we are all locked down at homes in different parts of the world. So all this man has to survive. But water is very good for us. That you know. But why water is very good for us from the science, from the chemistry. Now we learn that in water hydrogen bonding takes place. Therefore, water becomes a liquid. If hydrogen bonding is not there, it will become gas and evaporate. And it has very high specific heat. Therefore, oceans and river water remains despite the sun rays coming every day, because water can absorb large amount of heat without much rise in temperature. So the fish is happy inside the ocean because the temperature is not rising too much. All this due to the hydrogen bonding which we have shown. Clear, students?
Yeah.
I
Got it.
hope you are enjoying the sessions. Our
Yeah.
lectures is always a story, student. It's like a film story in which you will participate, I will participate, and by the end we will finish the lecture. We will understand the basic fundamentals, concepts, as well as we will be able to solve questions in the paper. So that is a successful movie. I think that's what we are doing. So our lectures are story. Students, keep on interacting with me, keep on talking with me. So our energy level is high. We will be able to understand, and we will like chemistry. Is very interesting because everything is chemistry around you. Food you are eating, the clothes you are wearing, the shoes which you are wearing, the hat I'm wearing, everything is chemistry. These glasses which I'm wearing, everything is made from chemistry now. Anything, nothing is without chemistry. So, some interesting subject. But we should understand how everything is happening. Now, the second part, students, second part, what I'm going to talk is uh, intermolecular intermolecular forces. Intermolecular forces. What do you mean by intermolecular forces, students? You have just seen formation of a covalent bond, formation of ionic bond, but this is happening within a molecule. Within a molecule, what happens if I have a large collection of the molecules? What I'm saying here, supposing you have molecules, molecules. For example, you have AB molecules. How many large AB molecules? Large AB molecules. So many, how many large I am saying? Because you know the size of molecules is very small. They are very small in size. And you know 1 mole of, if I take 1 mole of a substance, this has how many particles, how many molecules? 10 power 23, students. As I said, if I take 18 gram of water, this is equal to 1 mole of water. And this will contain 6.02 into 10 power 23 molecules of water, students. Yes or no?
Yeah.
These molecules will do what? We are saying there are intermolecular forces of attraction between the molecules. Between the molecules, I'm talking now. And they are important. There is a force of attraction between the molecules. I'm not talking of covalent bond. I'm not talking of ionic bond now. I am talking that there will be forces of attraction between these molecules, students. And there is an attractive force. We are saying there is an attractive force between molecules, different molecules. Take any gas also, there is some force between the molecules. So there are attractive forces which are there between the molecules, but these forces are much weaker. These forces are much weaker than students, than the forces which you found in covalent and ionic bonds. These forces were very strong. In this case, covalent bond is formed. Force of attraction between atom is very large. Force of attraction is very large when ionic bond is there, because there is a plus positive charge and negative charge. Here I am talking of forces between these molecules. These forces are very, very weak, and but they will decide the physical properties. They will decide, students, determine the physical properties of the molecular compounds. Physical properties of molecular compound. What do you mean by physical properties of molecular compounds? I am saying physical properties of molecular compounds. Can you tell me what are the physical properties which we study? Which we study? What do you mean by physical properties? But yes.
Boiling point.
Oh, very good, very good. First of all, you will say something exists in gas, something is a solid, something is a liquid. Is it a physical state or not?
Yeah.
Physical state. So you are saying water is a liquid, oxygen is a gas, Nitrogen is a gas which is present in the atmosphere. And certain metals which you see in everyday life, copper, iron, gold, they are solids. So what we see, three forms of the matter. Why something is gas, why something is solid, why something is liquid. That is related with intermolecular forces of attraction. ठीक है. The particles make up the matter. You are saying very small particles are there in the matter, sir. Atoms are there, molecules are there. If the force of attraction between molecules becomes very strong, what will happen? They will come closer. And if they come closer, what it will become? Solid. And if they are away, if the force of attraction become weak, they become liquid. And if the force of attraction become weakest, then they become gas. Is it right or wrong? Tell me. Tell me, is it that will happen or not?
Uh, what will
If
happen?
the particles are there, you are saying particles are, these are my particles. If their force of attraction is strong, they will come closer. Yes or no?
Yeah.
If they come closer, student, then what is happening? They will form solid. What do you
Yes,
mean
they
by
will
solid?
get.
The particles are strongly attracted.
Yeah.
And if the particles become attraction decreases, then they are going away from each other.
Yeah.
And then you are getting a liquid state. Liquid state. The particles can move from here to here, here to here. That is a liquid state. And if the particles force of attraction become very weak, what will happen? Then they are farther away.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the gas state. The physical state means what, students? What physical state you are experiencing in everyday life? How many things you see? Solids, liquids, and gases. Maximum solids are there in your home. You can see that. You are sitting on a table, you are using laptop. Uh, Everywhere you are seeing solids. Gas, air which you are inhaling, and liquid water which you are drinking. Other liquids you are taking. Maximum you will see solids. That means that there is some force of attraction between the molecules. Yes or no? If
Yeah.
force of attraction is not between the molecules, then why will they exist in solid or liquid or other forms? They will just evaporate and just go like gas particles. What we say in gas particle, the attractive force is very small. A gas diffuses in the atmosphere. Air goes from here to here. Air moves. As the winds will come, air will move. So physical state, one property you can say in physical state, that physical state of a compound at certain temperature. I am saying temperature is important. Temperature is important. Why temperature is important? Thermal energy.
Yeah. Energy.
Thermal energy. For example, student, if you heat water, what happens?
It boils,
It will
evaporates.
boil, and the water will be converted into steam, vapors. That means if you change the temperature, then the physical state can change. That means attractive force is there, but it is broken when you will heat it, and liquid will start boiling. Water molecules are held by strong hydrogen bonds. You are saying you start heating. What will happen? These bonds will break, they will absorb energy, and then they will escape. And what will they do? They will form gaseous state. The when you say water is boiling, steam, all the steam which is there, vapors of water. So temperature is the thermal energy, student. That is important because one physical state can be converted into another by change of temperature. Students, in your refrigerator, you are having ice cubes. In the freezer you put water, it becomes ice. Temperature drops. Temperature, what they are doing, they are withdrawing heat, and water will become ice. You see water becoming ice, you know the ice cubes. So students, physical state is this. Second, you told me boiling points. Very important, very good answer was given by you. Boiling point, student. Melting points, they all depend on intermolecular forces of attraction. Forces of attraction. Hardness, how hard is a substance? Hardness, what we call as texture. Then further, what is important? What you can say, that you can also say solubility in certain solvents. Solubility in solvents. So there are so many physical properties, students, which are related with intermolecular forces, that what type of intermolecular forces can exist, student, that is what we are going to study. Let us see the various types of intermolecular forces of attraction. These are attractive forces, students, and they were studied by a scientist called Van der Waal. Van der Waals, they are called Van der Waals forces. What I am saying, Van der Waals forces. Have you heard the name of Van der Waals, students? Van der
Yeah.
Waal was a scientist who worked on these, and he explained to us the various type of forces which are existing, student, which are existing. They are called Van der Waals forces. Van der Waals forces, student. The Van der Waals forces are important, student, what we are experiencing. Now, in the Van der Waals forces, student, first I take the case of molecules. If I have non-polar molecules, non-polar molecules, or atoms, atoms like noble gas elements, noble gas elements. They exist like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, etc. These elements exist only like this. They don't form compounds. You are saying these elements are not forming compounds, students. These elements are not forming compounds. You are aware of that. You are aware of that. So, what type of intermolecular forces of attraction will be there between these type of particles? That is an important point. Supposing I have non-polar, what is a non-polar molecule? For example, if I say hydrogen, hydrogen is a non-polar. This is a non-polar molecule.
Yes.
Non-polar. There's no charge. No charge. Now, when such molecules come together, what will happen? We are saying these these molecules are coming together. They are coming together, students. They are coming closer to each other. What will happen? What will happen? These are large in number. They are coming closer. What we are saying, there is no charge. But when they come, student, what happens? They are made up of, what this is made up of? They are made up of a plus and electrons. You know, everything is made up of positives and negative. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So there is a negative and positive. There is a negative and positive which is present inside every atom. So
Yeah.
when these particles like helium also, what you have? You have positive, and you are saying there are electrons in outside orbiting around the nucleus. When these particles come closer to each other, student, what happens is the symmetry of this charge is destroyed. What happens? The symmetry of the charge is, this is a symmetric molecule. This has a symmetric charge, means equal distribution of negative charge around the nucleus. But when they come closer, student, what happens is that there is a in temporary induced dipole. One end becomes positive, other end become negative, and in the other atom it becomes negative and positive. There is a temporary induced dipole when they come very close to each other, and the result is that there is a very weak attractive force, very weak attractive force which exists between non-polar molecules or atoms like noble gas which do not form compounds. The result of this is this weak attractive force is very weak, and this is called London dispersion forces. This was London dispersion, London, they are scientists who worked on this. This is called London dispersion van der Waals force. Van der Waals force of attraction. And this is the weakest, actually, weakest force which exists. But the force exists between them. So what happens, students? There is a force of attraction which is existing, but it is very, very weak. These forces are called London dispersion and are very, very weak forces. And they will depend on the size. If the size of the molecule increases, student, or size of the particle increases, the van der Waals force will increase because there are more electrons, more protons in that. So this is the first one which we have talked is London dispersion van der Waals force of attraction, students. That will exist when the molecules are non-polar students. So attractive force is there between these particles. The next one which we are talking, students, is because of the dipole dipole interactions. What are dipole interactions, students? Just now, if you have a polar molecule, student, polar molecule like HCl is a polar molecule, student. So what it means? HCl is a polar molecule. It has a negative end and a positive end. This is negative. This is positive.
Yeah.
So if you have large number of such molecules, what will happen? What will happen? Positive, negative, and then there will be positive, negative. Such molecules are there. Such molecules are there. Very large such molecules are there. So there is an attractive force between them. There is an interaction between them. What type of force is this? This is also called weak van der Waals dipole forces. These are also attractive. They are attracting, students. Opposite charges are attracting. But this is slightly higher than the London dispersion force because non-polar molecules have no charge. These are charged particles. These are charged particles. So there are dipole interactions between them, just like in HCl molecules. And this force is also called van der Waals forces of attraction, students. And this is also a weak force. Is also a weak, but stronger than the London dispersion forces. So this was my second type of forces. Then you can have third type of forces also, where those were induced, which I have told you. The third important type of is our hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding, students. This is also a van der Waals attractive force. This is also a van der Waals attractive force, students. And this is stronger than London dispersion forces. Also stronger than dipole forces. Dipole forces or interactions. So which compounds can form hydrogen bond? Then that is an important point, student. Which can form the hydrogen bond? If hydrogen is attached to highly electronegative element, there are only three: oxygen, fluorine, and nitrogen. They are the most electronegative elements, student. Most electronegative elements are which one? Oxygen, fluorine and nitrogen. They are the most electronegative elements. So if they can form hydrogen bond, students, if hydrogen is attached to them, if hydrogen is attached to them, what will happen? Then there can be a formation of hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond, for example, we have shown the case of water. This is my water, student. You have said this is positive, this is negative, positive. What happened here, students? The hydrogen, this can form strong hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen can form strong hydrogen bonds because oxygen is highly electronegative, hydrogen is less electronegative. Similarly, when I say HF, negative, positive, fluorine is highly electronegative, what will happen? HF, positive, negative, there will be hydrogen bond, there will be hydrogen bonds between these molecules. So those molecules, those atoms which are joined like oxygen, fluorine, nitrogen, if hydrogen is joined with them, then they can form hydrogen bond. The result of this, you have seen what happens. This is an attractive force. This is an attractive force, student. This becomes, HF also becomes a liquid. Water becomes a liquid. I have shown you the result of that. And water has high specific heat capacity. Has high specific heat capacity. It can hold, absorb large amount of heat without much rise in temperature. This is a very important property of the water we have seen. Further, you can see that what happens, students, when ice is formed from water. What happens? You know, ice floats on water.
Yeah.
Ice floats on water. The density of ice is less than water. Ice is lighter than water. It is a solid. It should be sinking. It doesn't sink. Because what happens? Ice is formed from water, student. It has a cage-like structure. And these H2O molecules are held by, they are held by hydrogen bonds. There are hydrogen bonds, students. And it expands. Ice, when ice is formed from water, it expands. Inside that, there are hydrogen bonds and some empty space. There are hydrogen bonds, empty space. It has a, what I'm saying, cage-like structure, and expansion takes place. Expansion takes place. Expansion takes place, student, when solid ice is formed from water. And therefore, volume becomes more, density becomes less. So
Okay.
these are all examples where hydrogen bonding is there, student. Hydrogen bond is a force which is a van der Waals force, and this force is more than other forces. So in terms of intermolecular forces, student, which are attractive forces, and they are given by van der Waals. They are all examples of van der Waals forces. Van der Waals forces, how many we have shown you? I have shown you hydrogen bonding. This is an intermolecular force, which is a van der Waals force. This is all examples of van der Waals forces of attraction, students. This is more than dipole force. These are all what I am saying, van der Waals forces, and this is greater than what I have shown, London dispersion forces. And which molecules are going to show hydrogen bonding, which are in which hydrogen is attached to, when hydrogen is attached to, student, highly electronegative element. Which electronegative element? Oxygen,
Oxygen, nitrogen, and fluorine.
fluorine. Only three.
Yeah.
And dipole forces are those which are polar covalent. polar covalent molecules. Yes, like HCl. And London dispersion between non-polar covalent molecules like H2, Cl2, I2, all these same atoms are there. So non-polar or noble gas elements, they exist as monatomic helium, neon, argon. Helium, in the metallurgical weather balloons, it is used neon. You got it, students?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
hope this lecture will be important for your exam, which is coming. You have learned so
Yeah, definitely,
you
definitely.
have learned everything, but your learning is very fast. Your mind is very sharp. You are very intelligent. Only you have to work. Only you have to work hard a little bit. You can score 100 out of 100 in a chemistry, and I will be damn happy if you do that, students. So okay, then I will meet you in my next class.
All
And
right. Thank
students,
you so
you can
much.
share my video to your friends. Those other students who want to learn chemistry, they can connect with me. I will be thankful because I love your country. I love Canada. I love people of Canada. So it's a beautiful country, and therefore, students, my best wishes. And since your time is, what is the time now in
It's
Canada?
11 now. 11. Yeah.
11. So you are going to sleep. And
Yep. And then the
for
test
me,
tomorrow.
I am going to work, student. Okay,
Okay.
bye bye. It is enjoyable
Okay. Have a
speaking
good
with
day.
you, and I
Thank
hope
you.
to meet you one day. Okay, take
Okay.
care. Good night.
Bye.
Bye
Have a good
bye.
day.